Oh God.
You guys hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
every year they do. It's called Eastern State Penitentiary, and actually, it's famous for Al Capone was incarcerated there at the end of his life when they finally got him.
Is my game good, Jay? Like I remember it was.
Yeah, I would say you could back it down just a tit.
I'm backing it down to tit.
A tit.
A nipple.
Just one nipple.
One areola's worth.
One areola.
One standard areola. But the prison, they do a fucking haunted house in the prison. It's pretty sick.
That would be cool. That'd be cool. That'd be like an old rustic. Like you can tell people have been fucked up in this prison before. Like
literally fucked up.
And it is also kind of something that's like very, like in hindsight, it's such a very privileged thing to be like, I'm going to the prison to go to a haunted house. You know, like.
Yeah.
Like that's something that someone who's never, ever, ever been close to being in prison, you know?
Yeah.
Very, yeah. God bless America.
God bless America.
God bless America.
All right, Daryl, you ready?
I am ready.
Clean as a whistle.
Ready. Clean as a whistle. Light as a feather. Stiff as a board.
Hot and ready, like Little Caesar. You guys have Little Caesar up there?
We do.
Yep.
Pizza.
He sucks up there too, I bet.
You guys know how their slogan there is pizza, pizza?
Yeah, what is it there?
Up here, they just made it hot and ready because we have a pizza in Canada.
That would be confusing. You're to be like Domino's saying Pizza Hut, you know?
Yeah, right?
Domino's Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
I've always thought that was just funny to say, like hot and ready. Like, because to me, hot and ready doesn't sound like you're ready for pizza. It sounds like you're ready to fuck, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, after you eat that, you are.
It's like, dude,
it's a natural
aphrodisiac.
Would you like my Supreme? Thanks.
Yes. How would you like my
No
meat lovers?
I got an extra large sausage here.
Somebody order a sausage pie, eh?
It's hot and ready.
Hot and ready, eh? Yeah.
I'm ready.
Man, dude, Daryl, can you imagine if I moved to Canada, I would be saying because I do this, like when I get in somewhere, like it took me about 45 minutes to start saying y'all here, but I only like say it to other like Texans.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just slide it in.
Y'all?
How y'all doing? Yeah, exactly. And I noticed sometimes when I'm talking to some of our drivers that are like these real Texans from like fucking nowhere, middle of nowhere, I start like doing this weird accent, and it's like not even. It's
having fun, eh?
It's
oh yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
you got
have to.
Growl. Southern growl.
Y'all.
Yeah, when you guys come to Texas, I'll teach you all about it. So teach you all about it.
Teach you all about it. That'd be great.
That's right. All right, boys. We're recording. We're hot and ready. We're live. We're gonna just go right into it and just let me start it off. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. 3, 2, 1. The Everyman Podcast.
The Everyman Podcast.
The Everyman Podcast, eh? I'll tell you what. We're hot. We're ready. It's a special episode, special edition of the Everyman Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 200. 200 weeks strong, 200 weeks in a row without fail. And there is no one we'd rather celebrate with today than our great Northern brothers, our Canadian pals. Ladies and gentlemen, Chance, Zach, Riley from Falset. What's up, boys?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
Blessed and highly favored as always.
Yeah.
Blessed, absolutely blessed. And as you can see here, we are in the Christmas spirit. I love your backdrop. We
Everything going on here from
Love it.
little
Dog
stuff
brisket.
who's
up on the shelf.
Me and Riley even came matching today.
that's
We didn't. By the way, we didn't plan this. We just both showed up. And we're like,
Doesn't-
no.
But isn't it true that everyone in Canada has that shirt?
Yeah, the odds were high of this
Everyone.
happening.
It's
Everyone.
mandatory.
It's mandatory.
Yeah.
You get when you're born, you get your bag of milk and your thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And for the every man and the every woman that's listening to the audio only version of this, our handsome boys here are decked out in Christmas attire, and like I said, this is a really cool moment for Daryl and I, and the every man, the every woman, everyone in the Cosmic Canoe with us, to get to 200 episodes and to do it consistently, week in, week out. You know, going on 4 years. I mean, you guys, you know it. You guys create content. You know, you're in a band, you're making music. You know what it is and how hard it is to do that. And to continue to do it, to continue to have fun doing it. Daryl and I have had 0 arguments or blow-ups in 200 weeks,
No arguments.
which is like we should probably just like that's
Right.
wild. That's
We
wild.
should do like consultations for people. so
Right,
they can,
like-
fix their broken relationships.
Right, like,
and stuff.
like
Yeah.
a relationship coaching, bro-tato coaching sessions. But
Mhm.
and this episode here, having you guys on is a perfect example of like why we love doing this. And it's like that idea of like you meet one person and then you bump into someone else, and then before you know it, you've got family all over the world. And you guys are absolutely in that. And then today it's like, hey man, Riley's gonna come on. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Come on. What are you even asking me for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now you're in the canoe with us. And to the every man and every woman who have supported this endeavor week in and week out and grace us with their time and their energy and their support and sharing it with their friends, sharing it with their loved ones, going out there shining their light into the world. Thank you. This couldn't happen without that. And you
Big
know,
ups.
the emails we get from people that are listening to this, I know my guys are out in the warehouse on their forklifts listening to this podcast, all over the world. I mean, we got people in Swaziland right now listening to this episode, guys. We're talking Swaziland, okay?
Wow.
And
Swazi.
and with that being said, you know, Chance had a great idea, something we've never done and we won't do for another 200 episodes. We're gonna have a toast to 200 episodes.
We want to
Everyman
congratulate
Podcast.
you guys. Congratulations to you guys, and thank you for having us on for this
Absolutely.
episode.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you. To 200 more. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Kudos.
Ah, God. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
I
So
love pretty champagne.
that's right. What do you doing? A little sparkling champagne there?
Yeah. We just we don't drink this on a normal basis, but we're like, it's part of the.
Yeah,
That's
it's perfect. It's festive. It's perfect. You got the dog brisket up in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that little side story about the dog brisket, we're actually starting a side project, and that's going to be our new band.
Dog brisket.
I might have to fight you for that name because that's fucking good. That sounds like a hardcore band from Brooklyn.
Glorious.
Oh,
It's going to be dirty.
what's dirtier than a dog brisket?
I don't know.
Nothing. And the question is it brisket that you feed to a dog or is it brisket of dog? You know?
That's for everybody
Right.
else to find out.
Got a little
We
duality
don't
on
know.
it.
It depends what area of the world we're in.
Right.
Mhm.
Shout out to our fellow dog eaters. Yeah,
But
that's,
no, I'm joking. That's not a side project. That just happened that way.
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
good. And you got the elf on the shelf. He looks like he's been up to trouble.
You noticed. We were wondering if you're going to notice the elf on the shelf.
Of course. Now,
Yeah.
my one question before we go any further is which one of you boys is wearing the mistletoe over your dong?
We're gonna have
Uh-oh.
to take the fifth on that
Think-
one.
thinking- might be Riley.
Yeah, that's yeah. See, guys, if you're listening to this, you got to start watching the YouTube. You're missing some gold right there. So, you know, right off the bat, you guys it's been cool to get to know you as at the same time as you guys are building your career. And I'm always, anytime Chance and I talk about music, I always tell him exactly what I think about what you guys are doing, whether I think I'm going to piss him off or not. I always want to give people an honest opinion if they're going to ask me for it.
Mhm.
And to see how you guys your songwriting has developed over a couple, an EP and a couple albums, and the production and just everything that I've seen you guys do in the last like 3 years is really impressive. And it's, I tell Chance I'm living vicariously through you guys. I love seeing it. Since we last had you guys on, you opened for Dream Theater, which, I mean, that alone to me is incredible. Like and then knowing those guys and the relationship we share with Chance's pappy there, and knowing like it's cool for me on so many levels, as a fan of your music, as a fan of you guys as individuals, and then just somebody that loves the whole Dream Theater world. It was very cool to see that. And you guys have a new album out, Monarch. So right off the bat, what's going on with Falset, Chance? Tell us what's going on there.
Well, right now we dropped that album in June.
Yeah.
So off the backs of that, it's been the best year we've ever had as far as streams and numbers go. But right now we're sort of like already working on new stuff. We're writing new songs already. We just bought a full-size school bus that we're renovating into a tour bus. So we're ready for tours coming up and shows, and we're ready to go down to the States and go across the country.
When you say school bus, do you mean a full like 53-foot?
Yeah, like a
big boy.
Big boy. Yeah.
Nice.
Which one of you is going to drive that?
So there's a loophole. We don't need a special license because if you register a school bus or any kind of bus or trailer or recreational home, if you register it as a mobile home, you can drive it with a regular driver's license. So we did that.
Sick.
And now we can all legally drive it. So we're probably going to crash it if we just try to drive it. So we're going to set up a little crash course in a big parking lot with pylons and all the maneuvers.
Yeah, I was going to say, you definitely want to get some reps on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that's sick, dude.
Now, is it gas or is it a propane? Because down here we have a lot of propane powered school buses.
Diesel. Yeah.
Diesel?
Yeah.
How big is that tank?
So this is the other thing.
None of us are mechanics here. We have a guy for that, so that would be a question for him.
Yeah, we have done nothing.
We're not. It's funny because we're renovating a school bus into a full-on tour bus, but we're a band full of non-carpenters, non-electricians, non-mechanics.
The least handy people.
We're musicians, right?
The people most afraid of using power tools is musicians with their fingers. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think you're going to be whipping that bus around.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Yes, go with the Lord, my boys. That's a fucking bold move. I love it.
We might lose a finger, but we won't lose our excitement.
right.
That's awesome.
Are you going to keep it yellow?
No, you actually can't. Apparently,
yellow and orange is reserved for schools. Apparently, so.
Yeah, they don't want kids popping up on the Falset bus.
Neither do we.
I'd like to make it clear. That Falset does not want children entering their bus.
Nope.
They did not get this. Yeah, this is a visual. So what color are you going to do?
We were going to do black, but apparently that just turns into an oven in the summer and with the sun being on. So we're going to do white.
All right, that could be cool.
Oh, we might do white. We might do a mixture of like a wrap and like a color, So I don't know.
We just want it to be incognito. Like we don't want to plaster Falset all over it. We don't want people to know like, oh, there's tens of thousands of dollars in that bus. So we want it to be like.
If you want to be if you want to be under the radar, you got to go camo. I mean, no one's going to be even able to see it.
We didn't even do that.
Yeah. A camo. Be sick.
They can't see it.
They can't see it.
Well, people won't want to invade our bus because they're going to be like, whoever owns that bus is probably going
crazy.
to.
Yeah. There's a crazy man.
Well, in the military. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. We have guns.
Yeah.
Let's make it look like it's a military school bus.
Yeah. And nobody will mess with it.
No.
We also thought about maybe opening a, just as a side gig, selling hot, fresh tacos during the day off the side of the bus, out one of the windows,
Hell yeah.
$5 taco and a Bud Light. I bet we can
do it. Multitask.
Yeah. I mean, they're like, it's like, I remember going to concerts in Philly growing up. Certain, like if you were at Wells Fargo Arena or whatever for a big show, there'd be guys outside selling, water bottles and bootleg T-shirts and shit. You get them coming and going. You know what I mean? You sell them the merch on the inside, and you sling the hot dogs on the outside. It's a foolproof plan.
Exactly.
I don't see how that goes wrong. There's a band in New York. I can't remember their name. Somebody will look it up and tweet it to me. That it's a hardcore band that got a flatbed truck, and they just strapped everything in, and they just pull up on sidewalks and just start playing. And then they social media out hey, we're going to be on 34th in Knoxville, and everybody shows up and they play until the police shut them down, and then they just drive it away, and then keep going, and they're making pretty good headway.
That's actually pretty smart.
You just got to find where the jurisdiction is for the police,
right?
And just go over that border, right? And then you got another round.
Exactly. No, sorry, I'm in Pennsylvania right now. That you have no power here. You guys could be doing. You could turn the roof of the bus into a stage.
Yeah, we were thinking about putting a jacuzzi up there, but that's a better idea.
No, jacuzzi.
It's like in Wayne. It reminds me of Wayne's World with the stretch Hummer with the hot tub in the back. They don't make them like that anymore.
Nope.
That's great. So you guys have already mastered the art of the loophole, the vehicular loophole. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Love to see it. Got yourselves a full-on bus. How hard was it to find a bus?
Well, there was a few we looked at. There's a lot of them, but a lot of them are in terrible condition. But we ended up finding a 2012 that's in good condition.
Nice.
Only 200,000 kilometers, not miles, just kilometers on it. So it's it's got a lot of life to it. Yeah.
What is that, 3.5 million miles? I don't even.
No, I think 1.6 kilometers goes into 1 mile.
Oh, okay. All right. Wow. So that's a lot of miles.
Wait. Yeah.
But I guess since it's a school bus, it doesn't matter because it's kind of.
It's rated for about double what it has, so it's half life right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be good. You does it have the dual wheels in the back? You got the dualies back there?
I think they're all dual.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you guys are gonna be fine.
Yeah, dude. Is it just the interior you're renovating, or is it like the outside, inside, engine, or just?
Dude, we're literally cutting the whole thing inside, outside. Starting from a what?
He said the engine, not the engine.
Oh, the engine. No, not the engine.
No.
Okay, cool.
Inside, we're just ripping all the seats out and just
putting bunk beds.
Starting we're gonna put a little, everything we need there: kitchenette, little living room area, bunks,
sick,
space, all that stuff.
Stripper pole.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, most buses already have that one up in the front by the door, so you could probably just retrofit that.
Ours didn't have one.
Really? Does it have the normal door? You get the cool door?
Yeah, we get the door that pops open.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah, and if all as a backup plan, you guys can always just turn it into an Uber or something.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying if all fails with the band, at least you have a place to live,
Exactly. Yeah. Hey man, they say invest in your future. So
are you gonna keep the stop sign crank?
You can't.
It's illegal.
Yeah.
Dude.
What if you change it to something else that just says metal or something?
How about
Falset? Just change it to your name.
You can do that.
Yeah, you got to keep that and put something else on there, for loadout. Think about for loading in and out. I mean, I can't tell you how many cities, shitty double parked situations I've been in, unloading a drum set on a city street. You just fucking throw that thing up. Hey,
get out of my way.
Out of my way. I'm an official transportation vehicle here.
I think we want to put retirement home transport on the stop sign part, and then no one will get in our way, and no one will try to steal anything from
look at those nice boys taking them to church. That's so sweet.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good, man. You guys got it all figured out. You guys send me some pictures. I want to see. Are you guys documenting your bus transition?
Yeah, we actually are.
Yeah, we're gonna try to do
that. I love it.
Yeah, I'd watch that for sure.
We just started an email subscription list sort of thing. We've been told we need to get on this, So we just started that, and we're gonna be giving them, like our email list, sort of exclusive content. So that's where we're going to give all the, you know, real behind the scenes, like school bus renos and all that kind of update kind of stuff goes to our email subscription list. So
Yeah.
definitely sign up.
Which is free, so everyone should join that.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to join the Falset email subscription list, how exactly would I do that, fellas?
You could just go to Falset's link tree and you'll see it on there, which you can find in any of our bios on any of our social medias.
I think it's safe to say you could also find that link in the show notes to this episode of the Everyman Podcast.
Mhm.
So if you're listening to this and you want to see what's going on with the bus, because I want to see what's on the bus and I want to sign up for the email list, go ahead, swipe up if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Click the link in the show notes, or on YouTube, scroll up. It'll be in the description. Dude, I'm almost like a fucking YouTuber now. This is crazy.
Yeah. Hit that like button and subscribe.
Smash that like button.
Yeah, go ahead,
Smash
smash
it.
it. Just smash it.
Mm.
Yeah. God, yeah. It only took 200 episodes to turn into one of those people. So Monarch is killing it. I actually have caught it a couple times, a couple of your songs on Sirius, which is a trip for me.
That's awesome.
You know, I love music, so I'm always Sirius XM came with our Jeeps, and then they fucking hooked me on that, so I kept it. And right now it's great because there's like 14 Christmas music channels, and I'm just banging that shit all day. I love Christmas music, man.
Oh,
I
me
love,
too, man. Me
love
too.
Christmas. What's your favorite Christmas song, Zach?
You know what? It's really hard. What's that one by John Lennon?
Christmas song?
Yeah, that's got to be my favorite. I don't even know the name of it.
It's called Christmas Song. It's beautiful, the beautiful melody, but the lyrics are incredibly sad.
Doesn't McCartney have a pretty big Christmas song too?
I don't know. That's a good question. My favorite's "Oh Holy Night." I love it. I love the classics.
But
That's a good one.
to be honest, every time I hear whatever version of this song, whether it's metal or pop or even a jazz version, I love "Carol of the Bells."
Oh my man.
The absolute best tune.
Yeah. Have you heard the South Park Mr. Mackey version?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Then I think August Burns Red, the
Glorious.
metal version, is sick.
Hell
metal.
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good. So
We did another metal version, more of like a guitar shreddy type of version of it.
So I don't know if you guys know this, and as we're recording this, we're a few weeks ahead of release. So we're gearing right in towards Christmas. And every year we do 2 themed special episodes. We do the Christmas Spectacular and we do a 4th of July Spectacular. And the Christmas Spectacular, we talk about, you know, Christmas memories and what we're doing. And but we share Christmas music on the podcast. We turn the podcast into a radio show for a night. And we always put something new on there. And one year I know we had the Mr. Mackey Carol of the Bells sung in there. But yeah, next week you guys check out the Christmas Spectacular. It'll put you in a good mood. And there's always some heavy shit and some real pretty shit on there too. And this year's going to be a lot of country.
Did you guys know we covered a Christmas song?
No. What song?
I saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus.
All right, listen. I
Need
need
it.
you to send me that track.
Need it.
It's going to be on the Christmas Spectacular this year.
Pretty funny. It's pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah. With your blessing, of course, we'll air that on the Spectacular.
We would love that. We'd love
That's
that.
awesome. Perfect. One down.
Sick.
One down, baby. So Monarch is killing it. And I just, you know, we talk a lot about music here. I want to just kind of get granular for a second. The thing I like about it is you can see a clear movement in your production and what you're kind of trying to do. And the songs are turning more into songs and less into, and this is, I'm not being critical because I've done the same thing. And it's part of learning how to become a songwriter is like early on, you write a lot of cool parts. And then you have like a 4-minute piece of cool parts. Right. And then if you're lucky, a couple of those songs have smooth transitions in and out of those cool parts. And then there's some that are just like, now we go to the breakdown. You know what I mean? Yeah. As you guys have developed, it's like clear you're learning that art of songwriting and like what is something that catches in somebody's head, you know, and like how to write a catchy melody and how to be heavy and technical, but also, for example, like it's like the wife test, you know.
Yeah.
When we have people, we have a lot of people on the podcast that send us music, and I'll listen to it like in my car on the way to work. I'll listen to it with headphones on, and then like I'll put it on in the background. And one of these examples is the latest James Labrie solo record, where she didn't know what I just put it on in the background. We were doing something, and then she's like, "Oh, I like this. This is good." And to me, that's the mainstream hook right there. Like, because my wife likes a lot of heavy stuff. We listen to a lot of the same music, but she also likes things that are a little bit more accessible, you know? And same thing with, you know, like with my dad. I had my dad in the car recently, and you guys came on, and, you know, it's like, "Oh, who's this?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is Chance. This is James's son." And, you know, they were just, "Oh, they were up for Dream Test. So cool." You know, and then you kind of share that music out, but you guys have an accessibility to your music that is like approachable, and it's approachable in a good way, from like that mainstream, what you want. Like you got to make money, right? You want people to want to listen to your music, but then for somebody like me who enjoys the hunt of finding obscure music, it's got some interesting textures and parts and rhythms that are going to keep my attention, you know what I mean, as opposed to just a pop music thing. So it's got those pop kind of moments and sensibilities, but then it's also driving and hard. And like, perfect example, like Medulla Oblongata, like I found myself, like I was listening to that. I hadn't listened to that record since it came out, and when I was driving into work today, I was listening to it. And then when I came home, I've been listening to a lot of Pantera since we moved to Texas, because I fucking love Pantera, and like Pantera's from Arlington, and like there's something cool for me when we were driving into Texas in our old truck, and I got Cowboys from Hell going. I'm just like, I'm fucking here, baby, you know. So I was alternating today between Pantera and Falset, and but I know it sounds silly, but like they're two things there that are, they're close enough that like it works, you know, like you can do it. And but anyway, I found myself, you know, singing and humming Medulla Oblongata all day long today, you know. And then when I get in the car, I'm like, I'm gonna put that fucking thing on, you know. And it's fun, you know. It's fun music, and I enjoy it, you know. And I know Daryl was pumping it today too. Daryl, what'd you think?
I was pumping it, dude. Like my three faves: Monarch, Puppets, and then my absolute favorite is Love Me Like My Demons Do.
Yeah,
dude, like that one is like, yo, tell me about that one. Like, how did you come up with that one? That was fucking sick.
Yeah, no, that one, I really wanted to do like a cool cascade between like super energetic like metal and dance music, where and I really wanted to fuse those two things together in one song. And yeah, that one worked out great. I was really happy with the outcome of that one.
Yeah, I love like those melodies where like you shred, you got the drums, but then like it's like that, it's like a fucking tonal just beat, and it's a vibe, man. Like it's one of those, like that's the one like in the car, like I'm in Jeep Renegade, I'm just fucking like shaking this whole thing by myself, and then like somebody's looking at me like, what the fuck is going on there? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I also think it's cool too, because that message is so deep and can be looked at in so many different ways. Love me like my demons do. It's like, ooh, and then you think about it.
I know.
Yeah, I love that name. That title alone is cool.
Yeah.
Who came up with that one? Was you guys just, that was like,
that was actually nice. It was all Riley.
Riley.
No,
boy.
I wrote most of the lyrics for that one. Yeah. Yeah,
it's most of them.
I mean, it's no dog brisket, but it's pretty good.
It's no dog brisket, that's for sure.
It's no dog brisket.
You know what's funny, Justin? I actually, you were just talking about that, the wife test and the dad test and all that stuff. Going into this album, I was like thinking about, man, would I just be able to throw this on at my family's, you know, family reunion around the pool, chilling, just like we're listening to any other song on the radio? Would it pass that test? And I've tested it, it does. So that was kind of that was in my head when I was writing a lot of these songs. because the last album was kind of like you were saying, just like good parts, but it didn't really catch the whole song vibe, right? That everyone's looking for when they're just kind of chilling, listening to music, especially the people that aren't into the super heavy stuff, the super niche. So that's what was going through my head a lot of the time when I was starting to think about this album as a whole.
You know, you make a good point there, and this is something that, again, I know you guys have a lot of much smarter, much more accomplished people than myself giving you advice. But this is like one of those things that I wish I could go back and tell myself, you know, when I was 21, 20 years old, which is like when you're in it and you want to make yourself happy, you know, but when you're young, you may not understand the business context of what you're trying to do. And it's like at a certain point, if you want to do it for real, you've got to make music for other people. Like you're not the fucking guy buying the record. You know what I mean?
But like, with you saying that though, and with Zach saying the whole like, with Zach saying the whole like, can you just listen to it like it's on the radio around, you know, a pool party with your family kind of thing? It's also, you know, we're not just writing these kind of songs because of that. Like, I swear to God, if we wrote this new album, Monarch, and we wrote it just as heavy as our first album, if not heavier, it probably would have done even better than this album, right? But I don't know. I think that we're writing this. It happens to be more radio friendly. It happens to be more commercially accessible. But it's also sort of where we are with the music we like and what we're into at the same time. So it's not all just based on business. It's also just like creatively what we want to do. Because I honestly do think that if we did write another metal album as our second album, it's what our fans were expecting and it's what they would have ate up. Because there were a lot of people that did respond to this album and say, oh, this is too much this way and I wanted it to go that way. But I think long term, this way is going to pay off, you know, for sure.
Well, absolutely. And what I'm saying is not just write music for other people. Like there's a balance. And if you're not aware of the balance, then you end up with extremes on one end or the other. You know what I mean? Of it's too much for me versus it's too much for somebody else and it's not authentic. And you look at like, I think also the fucking game has changed. And you look at somebody like Devin Townsend, okay, another great Canadian.
Never heard of him.
But he can write, like, he can do a death metal album and then a bluegrass album and then a spoken word album and then back to death metal and then a double album progressive metal with the guys from Meshuggah on it. Like, you don't have to, like, you can just make one album that's one thing. You know, like if you guys want to do an acoustic album, you can put out an acoustic album. And like at the grand scheme of things, it's like Jay-Z said, you want my old shit, listen to my old records, you know, like this is what I'm doing now. If you want the heavy falset, here it is over here. You know, like
that's how.
The other thing too is as an artist and a musician in a band, we've seen it both ways. A band stays the same and they write the same albums for their fans. And then the fans are like, oh, they just write the same album over and over again, blah, blah, blah. If a band changes and adapts with the times and writes new stuff, the fans are like, oh, it's not the same anymore. It's like, you can't win. You're going to get your naysayers, like, no matter which way.
Yeah. And especially when you open yourself up and you're putting it on a scale where hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people are accessible to the music. And, you know, you got social media and things like that. Every asshole's got an opinion. And, you know, at the end of the day, I saw your posts. I know the downloads are going up, so you must be doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that you guys aren't like losing yourself in this whole thing. Like you're still writing stories. Your writing is strong because you're telling stories, shared experiences, like shit that you guys are going through, but like doing it so creatively and in such a way that people can relate to it. So like for me, if like you have fans to say like, it's kind of this way, like they know that based upon the way that they're used to, whether it's heavy or not, like, and even this way where it like appeals to a more like, you know, kind of medium crowd, like you're still telling stories and they just know what they like because they know that you have the range to give it to them and provide it to them. So like, you know, I think what you guys are doing is awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That means a lot.
Yeah, that's so
every
good.
sorry.
No, there you go.
Every band that I've been a true band of, even if they write a new album and I don't like it as much as the last album, what did I say something?
Yeah, you said
I do. I'm like backtracking.
And you said band that you're a band of.
Every fan that I've been a true band of. No. Every band that I've been a true fan of, whether I like their new album or not, I appreciate it and I look into it and I respect it for what it is, and I love that band for, you know, writing this new album and, you know, expressing themselves differently. And I think it's because I'm on the other end of it. I'm not just a fan of bands. I'm also an artist in a band, that I'm like more appreciative of that side. And I'm not like always like, oh, it's not the same. Fuck this album. They've lost their sauce. Like they don't have it anymore, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not like that.
Your next album, you should call "Fuck This Album." You just keep going more, you know. Just
I feel like the thing is though, I feel like, you know, we've been surrounded by a lot of people in the same type of genre and part of this industry, right? I feel like there are those people out there that we're not thinking of. Like not everyone's the same, right? You got people that are listening to music for this reason and that love it for 10 other reasons that you didn't even think of.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's a giant freaking cloud of shit. Music is just like so, you know, it's based on what your perspective is.
At the end of the day, we're making this product for a ton of consumers, and all those consumers are there and listening and watching for different reasons. So who are we to say, oh, you're not looking at it the right way, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I do agree with that as well.
Yeah.
well,
just
I
like
mean,
Go ahead.
the only reason I like Falset now is because Riley's cute. You know what I mean? So everybody's got their, you know, you got a cute bass player, I'm in.
Well, like
When he takes his makeup off, though.
Real shit show.
it's just like the, you know, and I'm gonna go back to it just because it's my favorite song on the album is, you know, to love me like my demons do. Is like out of all the words, like just like the one stretch is, don't you know that you can count on me? Like that right there to me encapsulates everything that you were talking about in there. And I feel that because that's some shit that like real people experience. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking, when I hear that, I'm thinking about like my marriage and my wife and like different times where like, you know, she needs me to do things, but like she's kind of empowered, female empowerment, whatever you want to call it. But it's just like she does things on her own, and like she'll get into situations and I'm like, you know, hey, like I'm here, you know what I mean? But the same things like when in friendships, like, you know what I mean, and you know, relationships, family, you know what I mean? Like, hey, like, and I think more than anything else, and I was talking about this with some of my interns and some of my seasonals today, is like, you know, what the world needs right now more than anything is more of this kind of bringing people together type deal, and not so much the standoff shit. So like people want to know that they actually matter, and a clause like that is super important to just, hey, you can count on me, man. Like, don't you know that? Like there's just something, there's an elevated message behind how you guys write. It's not just entertainment. Like this is real shit, man. Like it's
Well, that's the thing, right? Is I started kind of a lot of the time now I'm like trying to write from inside, like from my heart. And a lot of people, when they write music, they're supposed to be talking about their feelings, right? So that's a lot of people's only into, oh, this other person definitely feels like this. So that makes the way that I feel valid, right? Like no one just talks about their feelings as openly as people writing in music and putting it right out there in a song, right? So it's a good way, like you said, to bring people together to feel like empowered in the way that they're feeling and shit, right? So
yeah. Big ups to you guys, man. That's
You know,
hit me in the feels, man.
I just
poured the feels.
cheers, boys.
Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
This
To the
wine
fa-
comes
to the-
quick.
To the Falset boys.
To the Falset.
We're gonna have to start breaking out the bourbon soon.
Oh shit!
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole other podcast, brother. So now, one of the things that I find so charming about my life is, you know, when I was like 15 years old and I was just a dreamer, you know, and I had no idea what my life was going to entail, but I knew I wanted to be a drummer, and I knew I wanted to be a musician, and that was my whole life. And then I kind of Dream Theater plopped right down into my lap, and it kind of just set my tits on fire as a young drummer for obvious reasons, because it's like, holy shit, this guy's got fucking 3 drum sets, and this dude's got a green goatee, and oh my God, listen to that singer, and that bass player looks like he's gonna fucking, his arms are gonna explode. Like, what's going on here? And Dream Theater lit every single creative fire in me as a young person. And it's funny, like I got really into vinyl, right? And I had some records prior to getting to Texas, but when we got to Texas, as a way for me to pass the time, and my wife, like, we started going out and hunting for records. There's like a great scene of all these different record stores, and there's a record store here called Josie Records in Dallas, not too far from my warehouse. And it's the largest record store in the US. It's like the size of a fucking Best Buy of all vinyl, VHS, cassettes, CDs, books. Like, it's just old school shit. It's awesome. And they had this deal that they did, a 1-day deal, where it was like, you could get 100 pound, I don't know how many kilos that is, 100-pound crate of records for $10, just random shit that they just picked out.
Really?
So I'm like, fuck. So it's like, well, if there's 3 records in there that I like, it's worth it, So I call up and I buy their last 3 boxes. So I got 300 pounds of vinyl in the back of my Jeep right now. But anyways, I go to pick this.
I got 300 pounds of vinyl in the back of the Jeep. Yeah, you want to go for a ride?
Dude, like, what a weird thing to say, right?
Weighted down. Let's go.
I mean, it's crazy. I'm like thinking about how I gotta carry 300 pounds of vinyl up our fucking giant stairs later. So I get to the record store, right? And they have like a new shit section, right? And I see from the corner of my eye, I see a Dream Theater vinyl. I'm like, oh, and I run over to it, right? And there's a guy standing there looking through like whatever's directly next to it. And I go and I grab it. I'm like, oh, fuck, I already have this. But this is sick. And the guy goes, Dream Theater? And I'm holding the record, and I just, and I'm like, go on. He's like, who's that? And I'm like,
blasphemy.
I'm like, they're a progressive metal band, and I already had it. So I put the record back for another. And this is the thing. I like, sometimes I'll just buy 2 copies of a Dream Theater record just because I just want to make sure that they're purchased. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to say,
like, I'm not too sure about the first one. Let's get another one.
Yeah. I'm just trying to do the boys a solid. You know what I mean? And it was just so exciting to me to find this out the world. And like, anytime I see like, oh, look, there's, Dream Theater, I get a kick out of it.
Maybe they don't have that many fans, and all their fans just buy 6 copies,
That's all you need. If you get 500 people to buy 5 copies each, like, you're fucking doing okay.
Yeah.
That's good money. But anyway, I'm looking online, and I see how, you were at the Portnoy Petrucci solo tour show. And now, Zach, you went to that, right?
No, actually, I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't able to go to it? For some reason, I thought you guys all went.
Did you go? Were you there?
No, didn't go.
No one was. It was just
no one invited me.
No one went. Actually, no one went.
I'm supposed to invite them, I guess.
It was you and our executive, right? Troy? Yeah.
Oh, you have an executive? Is he an executive assistant?
Yeah. Our guy Troy went. He's like our landlord, basically.
He's actually
yes.
He's your executive.
Can you be an executive landlord? That would be cool.
Executive landlord. He owns the studio that we rehearse at, and we do a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
this
guy Troy's very interweaved in our lives.
Very interweaved.
I love that.
The landlord, or the studio owner, or
tax guy,
touring with Falset, or our assistant, or
our driver,
or
eventually,
our drum tech.
Yeah.
Is he gonna drive the bus?
Oh, he's gonna drive the bus. He's gonna drive the bus.
See,
I don't know
whether he wants to or not.
I don't know about that, guys.
No, he's gonna drive it.
Troy is there. Jose. Shout out
Troy,
to
if you're watching this, you're hired as the bus driver.
Yeah, he's gonna want to raise now. So Chance, what was that like going to the Petrucci solo tour with Mr. Portnoy on drums? How was that show? Because I saw you got to check out the drums and you were back. Did you play his drums?
I played the drums.
He sits really high, right? Doesn't he sit like stupid high?
He does. He sits way higher than he ever did. But then also at the same time, his drum kit's way lower than it has ever been. So
Really?
I sit pretty high. Like I sit a bit higher than what you should sit at for a drum kit.
I always
And then
set low.
on top of that, I have a high snare drum and I have high toms and I have average cymbal height, maybe a bit higher than normal. But that's how I play. So when I set on his kit, I'm like higher than I normally am, and then everything around me is like lower than I normally have it. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But it works for him, right? And every drummer's different with what they like.
Well, he likes. I think he wants to give the appearance of that he's like standing while he's playing.
Right. But
You
it's
know what I
just
mean?
I don't know. It just how do you? I don't know. And he is hitting rim shots because you can hear it. But like, how is he getting his hand like down there to hit that rim shot? It doesn't make sense to me
Yeah.
ergonomically. Like,
Tricks of the trade.
yeah. But no, it was cool to be at that show, and it was my first time seeing Portnoy in person and talking to him or anything since like 2009. It could have been 2008, but I'm pretty.
So you
sure.
were like a baby then. I mean, you're like a full man now. That
Yeah,
seems like a long time.
He was a half man.
I was a half man.
Half man.
I
A
can call
half man.
them- In,
A half
in Canada, we call them
I was a
half.
wee man.
A half man. Yes.
Not to be confused with a centaur.
Yes.
Right.
Or-
Right. Of course.
But yeah, that was awesome because I have all these vivid memories of sitting behind Portnoy's kit while I was on tour, and him chasing me around backstage, joking around, and all these fun times. And then I walked into the Danforth Music Hall in Toronto, and Petrucci and Portnoy are doing their thing, and Dave LaRue, the bassist, and I'm just like wow, like it was weird to like because I've seen him on screens and on social media up until this point, and then I'm finally like in a room with Portnoy again for the first time since 2009, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And I'm watching my dad, Petrucci, and Portnoy standing in a circle all talking, and I'm like, when's the last time that circle happened?
Yeah.
It was really cool to be there and witness it and be a part of it all. It was awesome.
It is cool, and that I know that's, and make no bones about it. Daryl and I love Mike Mangini, and he's, for my money. I mean, and I like to think we've had the best drummers in the world on this podcast. The Kenny Arnoffs, the Blake Richardsons, the Mike Manginis,
Matt Halpern.
the Matt Halperns.
Hell
Yes,
yeah.
thank you. I mean, and the Naveen Copperwood. I mean, there's just so many guys. Jason Bittner, like we've had the opportunity to sit down and chat it up with like people
Chance
that
Free.
are the Chance LeBreeze of
Boom.
the world. Yeah,
Boom.
I mean, really, he is the top 3 Canadian. I don't even know any other Canadian drummers. You're my number 1 Canadian drummer.
What? Neil Peart.
Who? Neil. Well, rest in peace.
Well, he's not a Canadian drummer anymore.
Yeah,
What
man, he's God's drummer now, pal.
God's drummer, obviously.
Too soon.
Obviously.
Too soon.
Yeah.
If God has a band, he's the drummer.
Oh, fuck yeah. Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. And Mangini's great. And Portnoy's great. And, as a young drummer, and when you see like what I was doing with my band, it's no question. It's no wonder where I got it from. Like, I mean, the showmanship, when I saw Portnoy playing for the first, I was like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. Like as a fucking 15-year-old, I'm like, all right, I'm going to just be the fucking whole show. And then like in hindsight, like that doesn't work for everybody, and like it brought a lot of extra pressure and stress and pissed people off, but I had a great run. And, it's cool to see them playing together again. It's cool to see, that solo album, the material was great. And it's funny. I'm not trying to name drop or anything, but the day that tour was in Dallas, I was at the Cowboys Bears game with Mark Holcomb from Periphery, and he had hit me up, and I was planning on going to this show. And then Mark was like, hey man, it's my birthday. I want to go to this Bears game. And then we had an opportunity to get some like ridiculous seats. We were on we were in the 10th row on the 50-yard line, like right behind the Cowboys bench. We had a Hall of Fame club. It was fucking sick. I was like, when's the next time I have a chance to do this? I'll probably get to see John and Portnoy and company another time. So I was and unfortunately I missed it. Like I just, normally it's like any other time I would have been there, so I was a little bummed that I didn't get to go see it, but by all accounts, it sounds like it was a great show, and it looked badass. How did his kit sound?
It sounded amazing. It was cool too because I got to sit right beside the kit for the whole show. So I sat there the whole time because I was just having so much fun. Originally, I went back there and I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here for like 3 songs or 4 songs, whatever, and then I'll go back out fun. But once I was sitting there, I'm like, yeah, I'm staying here. This is an awesome view. I haven't done this in years.
Well, you get to learn. You learn so much. Like, shout out to our boys in Between the Bear to me, and like, I learned there were a lot of concerts I spent standing there behind Blake watching him play, and like when you have the opportunity to stand behind a professional, you know, like at the top of their game, playing to a full house of people that want to be there for them, and you see what it actually takes to do that as a performer and as the athleticism required to perform like that, the mental focus, and then also just the situational awareness of all of that shit going on stage, and you're the drummer, and you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like being at war on stage as a drummer. Like, it's chaos, it's controlled chaos. And to like sit there and watch a master, like Daryl, remember when I think Chance, you were on that tour, when we first went and met Mike Mangini and he invited us on stage for the sound check, and you're standing next to Mangini. This is when I like really started to understand Mike, because I'd only seen him from like the crowd. And I had this perception that he played very lightly because he was just so fast. Right. And then you stand next to his kit and you're like, what the fuck? Like, that is power. How is he getting that power with that little range of motion? Then you're like, well, that's why he's Mike Mangini. You know what I mean? And Portnoy's kind of the same way, I imagine. Were you like kind of surprised at how much power he was putting out?
Well, the biggest thing for me that I took away from that is the showmanship. And I feel like when I started drumming with Falset, I was into that and headbanging and going all out. And then over the years, I slowly like did less and less of it, to the point where I am now, where I pretty much do no showmanship. Like, my whole physical drumming is the showmanship, and I'm not doing any other things really for the most part. But then watching Portnoy right behind him again, I was like you, where you're like, oh, that's what I should be doing when you're
right. Yeah.
That's sort of where I was. And I'm like, why have I sort of like suppressed this side of the drumming, like the showmanship of the drumming? Why have I put that in the back seat? And that's one thing that's the biggest thing I did take away from, you know, watching Portnoy again live was, hey, like, I need to incorporate more of this, because it really does bring the drumming up to another level. But
there's a fine line. There's also a fine line where you can tip it and become a distraction. Like,
yeah, have you heard about Mad Hat drummer, or the Mad?
Yeah, the drummer at the wrong gig. Yeah, the guy that does all the crazy. Well, that's like his gimmick, though. Yeah.
Yeah, what ZZ Top song?
Yeah. Yep.
Like, that's too much, right? Obviously, that's his whole thing, but like, that's where it crosses the line.
You know, right? He's a big Dream Theater fan. He was actually.
I heard a radio thing of Portnoy and him talking before.
Yeah, he's from Allentown, PA, back not too far from where we're from. I remember seeing a Dream Theater show. We had like, and again, this is like the hilarity for me for the full circle. Like, I was one of those guys paying, you know, however much for like the VIP thing, and we were like in the front row at the Tower Theater, and Portnoy's fucking launching these sticks up in the air, like 25 feet easily, and coming down and catching them and still playing. And it was like, he would miss a couple every now and then, but he did it enough where you're like, fuck, that's distracting. Yeah. Like,
one of my favorite moves he does, and I got it on camera, I got it on video, which is, I remember when I was a kid, he did this, he still does it now. Well, he's drumming like an easier part where he can use one hand. He'll grab one stick in his left hand, throw it over to a tech on stage left,
and then he holds it,
catches it, and then they'll throw it back. So like, from the audience perspective, all you see is like the drummer throwing a stick to the side, and then 2 seconds later, you see the stick come right back out to the drummer, and then he throws it back to the side of the stage, and then you see it come right back. And I'm like, that's so fucking cool and creative. Like, that's awesome.
We should do that with guitars.
Listen, when you come
the guitars,
when you come to Dallas, I'll be your fucking stick guy on the side.
There we go.
Fucking wing them to you. But we'll do it differently. He was going end over end. We're gonna go helicopter style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just really
catch it.
Yeah,
Ugh.
no problem. Yeah, I mean, and it's funny, like all the things you find yourself picking up subconsciously that you stole. You're like, oh shit, now I know where I stole that from.
Yeah.
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 But I'm really glad you got to see that. So what are you guys listening to lately? Like anything new? I want to hear from all you guys. And let's start with Riley, because Riley, you're good looking, man, but I don't know you enough yet. I need to know more about you. So what are your influences, brother? What do you like historically? What are you listening to now?
So historically, I grew up listening to like a lot of. Okay, well, let's start way from the beginning. When I was a little kid,
This is a 20-minute segment, so I'm just gonna step
we'll
off
be
for a
back.
second.
Yeah. So yeah, when I was a kid, like I would be watching the Disney Channel. They actually left. I'd be watching the Disney Channel, and like whatever was advertised to me, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Aaron Carter, rest in
Of course,
peace.
rest in peace, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who saw that coming, by the way?
Yeah, no, neither did I. But that was primarily like what I listened to as like a small child, and then my dad, he like moved away for work. The family was all still together, and they still are, but he had to like move for work, and then he came home, and he like brought home a Nickelback CD, Silver Side Up, and so I
fucking love Nickelback, by the way.
Yeah.
Hang on. I just want to say, and this is not like me trying to be cool, I have fucking loved Nickelback since Silver Side Up, all the way through when everybody got on the thing where they're like, oh, fuck Nickelback, all the way through until current. Their new record fucking rules, and that first single that came out is heavy as fuck. I don't care who you are. If you are anyone who has benefit, like if you listen to Roadrunner records at any point in time, like you ever bought a Slipknot record, Nickelback basically funded all of the metal bands that Roadrunner records had for all of the 2000s, including Dream Theater.
I agree with you there, man. I fucking love Nickelback. I just saw them 3 weeks ago with my dad.
How were they? Your dad likes Nickelback?
It was yeah. He was the one that introduced me to them. I was a little kid, and he threw their live DVD on, and we watched it. And I watched that so many times as a kid, but that was their first show in 3 years. Chad was saying, and they were just
talk about a master songwriter. Chad Kroeger. Like I was reading an interview recently with his brother, who's the other, I guess he's the other guitar player. Bassist, right. He was saying, that song Animals that was on All the Right Reasons? Yeah. So he was telling a story that they had like 11 songs done in the can. And then at the last minute, the record label was like, hey, we need to release a special edition version of this. We need one more song. And they were like in the studio for like, it was the last day. And he was like, all right. And Chad Kroeger just went out into his car and in 20 minutes wrote Animals. Literally came back, and they said the only thing that was different in the final version was his phrasing on the chorus. Like he just changed where he was, phrasing things, but like all of the lyrics. And then you go listen to that song and you're like, this guy pulled this out of his ass in 20 minutes. Like I am a fucking loser, and he just, they're the best.
I think so many people hate Nickelback because it's the cool thing to do. Like, fuck Nickelback, and then everyone hops on that bandwagon. But it just shows you like how people don't think for themselves, especially when it comes to music. Oh, it's cool to like Led Zeppelin. I love Led Zeppelin. Oh, fuck Nickelback. Okay, fuck Nickelback. Like people don't think for themselves.
Well, I think there was a time where on radio, like at any given time, How You Remind Me was playing.
Oh God, yeah.
For and then super long period of time.
Yeah.
But they also have this knack for writing like the song that's going to be the song for the NBA Finals, or like whatever crazy shit, Like why aren't they playing the halftime show? Why isn't Nickelback playing? I know why, because they're Canadian. Probably they don't respect the Canadians. But
the Weeknd is Canadian. He did it 2 years ago.
Shout out to the Weeknd.
Would have preferred Nickelback though. But
yeah, I'm a very pro Nickelback guy, and their drummer, dude. He does not get enough credit. He's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Well, they have the the guy from Three Doors Down as their drummer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he was like, they were touring together, and then they were like, oh, this guy's pretty
Daniel.
sick. How'd you like a bunch of money?
How'd you like a pile of fucking money for your work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They
it was
just-
funny. So in 1 week I went to the Nickelback show, and then 2 days later I went to the John Petrucci and Mike Portnoy show. And when I was there, Portnoy was like, "Oh, I saw you went to the Nickelback show a couple days ago," and I'm like, "Yeah, I was there with my dad." He's like, "Oh, no way." He's like, "I got a funny story for you." He's like, "This was right before the pandemic hit, and they asked me to come. Like, their drummer had this arm surgery or this arm problem, so he couldn't do the show, and they asked." Chad and his brother, they were calling up Portnoy, and he was all set up to play the one show, this one festival in Vancouver or out west in Canada. And then the show ended up getting canceled and everything, but Portnoy was supposed to play this one-off show for them.
Dude,
and I'm like,
that would have been
dude, that would have been the easiest show you've ever played. And he was just like, exactly. He's like, he was saying like Chad's brother said that would have been like bringing a nuke to a night.
that would have been, but at the same time, I could totally see that going well.
Yeah,
God
Portnoy would have done it. Just like he did
God.
7-fold grade, he would have done that great as well.
Tornado.
Tornado alert.
Whose phone is that?
A little bit of technical difficulties. Just hang on.
I honestly thought that was coming for you.
Yeah.
That was trippy.
That's my alarm to wake up.
Oh, good morning, sweetheart.
Yeah.
That would be like, like Mike Mangini's going out on tour with Billie Eilish or something, like
Yeah.
whatever the fuck. But anyway, Riley, so what are you listening to now, brother?
Right now I listen to like North Lane, Era, bands like that. A lot of like video game soundtracks. I'm a big video gamer.
Yeah. Nice.
So
what are you playing right now?
Right now I'm replaying through the Metal Gear Solid series with my girlfriend because she's never watched it. They're very movie-like.
Oh yeah.
She doesn't really like video games, but she loves movies and TV. So I was like, why don't you give this a shot? And we're almost done the entire franchise. So I think she likes it.
I remember the first Metal Gear Solid I played was 4, and when I got a PS3, and I remember there's like a fucking 90-minute cutscene at one point. I'm like,
the ending.
What is this? I just turned it off. I didn't have the time. I was like, I gotta go.
That's a bad one to start with because it's a lot of cutscenes. I think it's like 20 hours of cutscenes, 4 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, it was.
Damn.
Once you beat the game, there's 2 hours left of just movie.
Are you a fan of the OC remix at all?
OC remix.
Overclock remix. I'm just huge into like video game music too, and like they basically take all like classic retro and even some of the newer video game soundtracks and like put their own spin on them. They've been around since like the 90s.
I'm
Check
definitely
it out on Spotify. It's sick, man.
OC remix.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Now listen,
I've always been a Call of Duty kind of guy. Which
yeah, me and Chance, I ordered a new headset. It should be here soon. I don't know what the hell happened to that. Me and Chance and I, we started off doing well, and then I just shit the bed. I'm getting used to the new Warzone. We'll make up for that. But yeah, Chance and I have been holding it down. We had a couple matches on multiplayer where we were just shredding people. It was pretty obscene.
I've taken my Call of Duty playing very seriously in the past couple months.
It's good, as you should.
Oh, dude, the new one's so good.
It's great. Now, listen, guys, there's something I need you guys to do for me, because this is a journey that I encourage every young musician to take. I've been on Chance about this. Please start listening to Meshuggah. Just get a little.
I love Meshuggah.
Okay.
One of my favorites.
Get a little Meshuggah in your life. And they're one of those bands where it's like for example, people have been telling me for years, you got to listen to Meshuggah. And I was like, no, I don't get it. And then finally, like, it clicked in. And now for the last, 12 years, it's like the number one thing I listen to. Mm-hmm. And my wife she would hear it. It's like all I listen to generally. It's like either I'm listening to Meshuggah or like one of 3 other records, depending on what's out at the time. And one day I come home and she's like, I get it. I'm like, you get what? She's like, I finally get Meshuggah. They're the best. I'm like,
yep.
I knew you'd see the light. I knew you would figure it out. And they're just the rhythm, just the structure. And it's just like, as somebody who's writing music,
crime,
it just, dude, I saw them a couple in October, boy. And like all respect to, you know, the Peripheries and the BT Bams and the Dream Theaters and the Gojiras, even the Mastodons of the world. I don't know that there's anybody doing heavy music in real life better than what they do. And like the light show and just everything is fucking great. And anytime I get some young guys on, I say, you got to check out the Meshuggah, man. It'll, even if it's not your cup of tea, just what they're doing rhythmically and like learning how to like dissect 4/4. It's like, oh, you haven't even scratched the surface of what 4/4 can give you until you start listening to Meshuggah.
100% agree.
That's true.
It's great. And also, Zach, you know, I've been noticing you putting out these covers and videos on your Instagram, man. What's going on there? What made you want to start doing that?
Yeah. Oh, you mean just like the guitar stuff, you mean?
Yeah, and you're singing, you're just doing your whole thing. It's like you're really putting it out there. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. No, I've just been trying to stay a little more active online. We all are, really, because we just dropped an album and now we're kind of sitting on that for a while. So we're going to be trying to be a little more active online. You know, it's hard, but I think if we just keep up with our weekly, you know, try to post a video a week or whatever, it can easily be done. So,
well, it's cool too, because like Zach has come to us a lot lately and been like, guys, I've just been on this like train of like social media and doing these videos every day and stockpiling all these like pieces of content so I can be posting and consistent with my posts and being active on social media. And years ago, we all talked and we're like, we need to be more active on social media. And we go through these little moments in time where we're like, really, we're all like on social media and we're all posting all the time, but we keep falling off and we keep falling off. And right now, Zach has been like the biggest force in like pushing us to take the social media stuff way more seriously. And I love that, because I completely agree with him. Like, it's something that we really need to start attacking more and more and more. And I think like we've talked about this before on the Everyman podcast, like it's such an important thing now. Like I've watched these, you know, TikTok musicians and these Instagram musicians. And what's crazy to me is that if you are curating and making these pieces of content that are for the 30-second video going to Instagram Reels, or that 30-second video going to TikTok, and you make a musical piece of content that's a video that's for Instagram or for TikTok, that little lick you played there, that'll be way bigger than some popular musician's new single. So it's like, who's winning right now? Like the bands that are making those, you know, whole albums and just posting it to Spotify and Apple Music and doing CDs and doing vinyls? Or is it the musician on TikTok who has 20 million followers and gets 2 million likes on every 30-second music video they post? It's like music is sort of like adapting and changing. Like obviously as a band and as an artist, you still need to be dropping albums, you still need to be dropping singles and songs and all that. But it's very intriguing to look at, like, hey, let's start to make more video and TikTok and Instagram Reel and social media type videos more often, and posting that kind of shit. Because that kind of stuff gets you way bigger, for sure. Like way more people.
I have something to quickly add on to the end of that. You might remember this. I think you were there too. 3 years ago, when I sort of started seeing all this, like, I think TikTok was really starting to pop off and shit. And I remember being at a restaurant, we were having a few beers, and I'm like, guys, I'm seeing something happen here. Yep. And you remember this?
Yeah, Kelsey's.
Was it? Yeah, exactly. So what I think is going to happen is eventually some musician, some artist, probably like a really big pop artist, is going to have enough balls to try to start this new trend called 1 minute song video, phone format. And it's one song, full production music video, same stuff, but it's 60 seconds long, which is the average, you know, like 16 to 26-year-olds attention span, right? So that's the song, and that's all you get. And now my backup on that is all music takes nowadays to start something new is somebody with balls, somebody with some creative mindset. They start doing something and then everybody else follows. So all it takes is one person to try that, and it could catch on. And I still think that's going to happen.
Yeah,
I really do.
All right, Zach, show us those balls, fella. Let's go. Let me see those balls.
Let them hang.
better get that out before this airs.
Yeah,
so
seriously.
if you really break that down, guys,
You got 2 weeks.
no, you got. If you really break that down, you got some math to do. Okay, because now you're looking at one song which consists of, let's say, a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus slash outro. Those parts need to fit into 60 seconds. All right. You got to count on BPM. You got to count on how many bars each part is. You got to count on the flow, the transitions between each part, which I think it could totally be done. So let's see what happens. I don't know if I'm going to try it, but I think it's going to happen.
If you don't try it, I'm going to do it. I'm
You
gonna start
like
putting-
literally just you gave everyone the answers to the test right now.
Okay.
So
Yeah, you better get
without
after it,
question.
Now you're on a hustle.
I think here's the thing. To be honest, I think what it's going to take is somebody who has enough money to make it like amazing. You know,
Yeah.
it's got to be a freaking like.
But you see that with comedians.
It's got to be an entertaining 60 seconds, right? But a full on like production. Everything's there in that song, right?
Comedians are doing that a lot now. Like it got,
Little segments, like a
they're turning their stand up into 45-second clips. Now, I've got as we wind this down here, boys. I have a request that I'm going to. It's more of a demand, and it's for you, Zach. I have been watching your videos, and I've been thinking, because Chance and I were having a conversation about it on when we were talking about Warzone, and we were talking about this.
Don't tell him what I said about him.
I won't.
Yeah.
I won't. That's between us, baby.
Yeah.
I need you to do one of your guitar and vocal covers of Rosanna by Toto, because I don't know if you know that song, but Toto's one of those bands that, like, everybody knows Africa, it's a meme song.
Yeah.
But if you dig into that album, it's Toto 4, the one with the red cover. Some of the guitar tones and like what they're doing there is just so good. And so it's kind of like Journey, where it's like Journey will never get the respect for the guitar playing that they deserve, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that riff is hard as fuck. The tone is great. It sounds kind of like something you would do. And I can hear you all day doing those vocals. So I would love, if you're looking for shit to cover, I would love to see you do Rosanna by Toto. And after this pod, go listen to it and shoot me a line. Let me know what you think about it. If you don't think that that's solid gold for your vocal range, let me know, because I'm clearly an idiot. But I think it would slap.
All right, I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna try to get to it. That'd be
Toto,
awesome.
Toto, eh?
By the time this podcast is out, that video of that song will be live.
That's right.
Zach Copeland on Instagram.
And you could take that to the bank, because it has been said, and
Write it down.
Write it down. Cash the check. Cut the check. So as we wind down here, Falset boys, you got a big year coming. Hopefully you're going to be hitting the road. Hopefully you're going to be coming to the great state of Texas. Yeah. And when you do, you guys are sleeping here, brother. We're going to have
GSOT.
You guys are coming here. You're fucking hanging out. I'm going to cook you a dog brisket. It's going to be sick. Okay?
Oh,
Play with the dogs. Play with the dogs.
love that.
We're going to get you a nice plate of dog brisket. You're going to love it. Okay.
That's great. I hope no one takes that out of context,
Yeah, well, the SPCA is going to be up our ass. So starting with Riley and working our way over to Chance. Riley, what's the best way to keep up with you as an individual musician on your journey with Falset?
I would say hit me up on Instagram at riley.falset. Easy as that.
I like it. And that'll be in the show notes as well. Zach, my boy.
Yes, pretty much the same for me. You can follow me at Zach Copeland. That's ZAKKCOPELAND.
Can we?
You can also
hang on a second. What did you just say? What was the first thing you said?
Zed.
What is that?
Oh, it's like a letter.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So British and Canadian way of saying Z is Zed.
Zed. So you turned a letter into a word.
Yeah.
Well, I think you guys turned. Zed into Z. So don't hold on there.
Oh, let me tell you something, pal. Here in Texas, okay.
What about W? There's like a few words in W.
No, see, we just say W.
W. It's
W.
W.
Wasn't that the name of a president?
Yeah.
No.
Hey, that's a Texan. He's a Texan.
No, actually, I was
I didn't say anything
also going to shout out another thing on here. So I'm teaching guitar lessons. For this, I would say definitely hit me up at the Daily Shred Guitar Academy, where I do tons of video lessons, Zoom, Skype, Facebook, whatever. So you guys
know
are
what?
looking for guitar lessons.
I'm gonna take you up on that, Zed, because you know what? I've started playing guitar again. I decided to start focusing on guitar, and I've just been slapping some Pantera riffs here in my studio.
Oh, yeah.
And I need a little guidance, so I think I'm gonna hit you up on that.
Absolutely, man. Hey, first one's free.
Oh shit! Sign me up.
Overall. So
consider me signed up. All right, so we got Zach's Instagram and then Chance, my boy.
Yeah, you guys can follow me at chance.labrie. And I also teach guitar lessons at thenightlyshred.ca.
Yeah.
Nightly Shred.
No, he is the Daily Shred though, and he's the best guitar teacher out there. So anyone listening to this, if you guys want guitar lessons, or your kids want guitar lessons,
or your grandparents,
Christmas is around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, someone's birthday's around the corner, and then after that, it's whatever. But
Riley's birthday.
Yeah, which his dog died on that day.
His dog died on his birthday.
True story.
Oh no, dude.
Sorry to hear that.
So every year it's his birthday. We get him like biscuits or dog treats or something like that. It's just to remind him cruelly.
Now, what if I want life lessons? Which would you... Oh my God!
I love it all. I'm here for it. I'm here for it all.
What about the life lessons?
Life lessons?
Who's dishing out life lessons? Is that Troy?
If you're going through something, oh my gosh.
Yes. Give me more. I need more cowbell and more ringtone.
If anybody's going through anything,
do you guys know what's happening right now? My sister's trying to call us right now.
Does she not know that
she knows? Oh no, she knows
that you are on an extremely
Justin Timberlake. She knows.
Respected international variety show.
And she knows she's upstairs. We're downstairs.
I texted her before I did this, and I said, "Hey, just so you know, we're doing this thing. Don't call, don't text." And here we are.
Here we are. She wants to be on too. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
I think she wants to be like, "Chloe, come on down," and then she'll be, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know."
Oh, so sorry, I had no idea. Yeah, I love it. You Canadians are
just FaceTime,
an absolute delight. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. In summary, no better way to celebrate 200 episodes of the Everyman Podcast. Thank you guys for being brothers. And again, I love watching you guys on this journey, and I truly am living vicariously through your journey and seeing the things you guys are doing and accomplishing. It makes me happy, makes me proud. And we're pulling for you big time. And I know the Everyman and the Everywoman, they always enjoy these podcasts. We always get a lot of great feedback. So Monarch, available everywhere. Digital music is available. It's in the show notes here. There'll be a couple of links to Spotify, and I'm sure you got some stuff on YouTube we're going to put in there. Your link tree is going to be in there as well, so you guys can sign up for the email list. And no shit, I'm going to sign up for the email list because I want to know what's going on. Because I got to keep tabs on my boys.
Keep the eyes on them.
And
great to finally meet the both of you.
Yeah, absolutely. You too. Yeah, absolutely. And you'll be dealing with me in Texas soon enough, my boys. I know you're coming.
And hey, again, to you guys, congratulations on 200. We've watched along the way, and we've been a part of it a few times here and there, and we think what you guys are doing is great and one of the best podcasts out there. So congratulations to you two on 200.
Definitely.
Thanks, brothers.
Thank you, guys. We really appreciate it, and it won't be long, and we'll see you guys again soon. Every man, every woman, have a great day. Shine your light. Call your mother. Tell her you love her. And we'll see you boys down the road.
Peace.